What's up, y'all? This is Darlamon Jenkins from One People's Project. How y'all doing? I'm on the road, and right now I am sitting on the corner of Henderson Street and East Franklin Street here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This is where Occupy Chapel Hill is taking place. It's right here at what doubles as the courthouse and post office. And while it's not as big as any of the other Occupies that you will see, obviously at Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Philly, what you will see in any of the major cities, it definitely has a presence here, that's for sure. They got a number of tents here, probably maybe about 10 tents. 10 tents here, and but there's a lot of people that are coming in and out. What I'm going to do, because Chapel Hill is nice, but apparently Raleigh's catching a lot of hell. Occupy Raleigh can't even put up tents. But there's even a bigger backstory than that. And while I was here, there was a journalism class. Oh, I should point out, we're at UNC for the most part when you're in Chapel Hill. And some journalism students from UNC came over here to talk to some of the folks here at Occupy Chapel Hill, and one of the people is acting like a kind of liaison between Occupy Chapel Hill and Occupy Raleigh. So he had a nice little story to tell them about what is going on. We also did speak to somebody here from Chapel Hill who can tell you pretty much how everything is. And I'll give you a little bit of background for Chapel Hill. A lot of the folks who are in Occupy Chapel Hill are working. So they're basically doing this in solidarity with all the other Occupy actions that are going on around the country and around the world, for that matter. This is a pretty liberal town. This is the town that chased Tom Tancredo out when Youth for Western Civilization brought them to UNC. And you know, it's good to know that when I came here, I was told that for all their talk about how wrong everybody was for chasing Tom Tancredo, well, pardon me, got boats flying around, but for all the talk about how it was wrong to chase Tom Tancredo out of here, free speech, yada, 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 I come here to the campus. Youth for Western Civilization is no more at the University of North Carolina. So that's a good thing, and it's good to hear. Also, it's really funny because now you know you're down south when the food is better. when you got somebody just cooking up home cooked meals, cabbage, green beans, and stuff like that, you know you down south. I'm just waiting to see if I go out to Texas, they got a rib pull going on or something, I don't know. But in any case, I want to limit my speaking, as I've been saying for a couple of times now. These videos, I should say, are not going to be as frequent because I know I'm going to go to DC, because I promised that before. Hopefully I'll show you Raleigh, I don't know, but these videos aren't going to be as frequent because I'm going to be spending a lot more time in Philadelphia area, and unless anything new happens there really isn't much to talk about. So I'm going to let you go now. This is actually going to be broken up into 2 videos because they're running long. It was a good discussion that I had with my man from Chapel Hill, and it was a good discussion that my man from Raleigh was having with the journalism students, and I think it's worth looking at in its totality, so to speak. There's a few jump cuts, obviously, just where there were pauses and things, so it wasn't like you're losing anything. But in any case, I'm gonna let you go, and I can't say I'll see you tomorrow. I'll just see you when I see you. All right, y'all. Peace.
Here on October 15th of 2011, we began occupation of Franklin Street, which is the main street here in Chapel Hill. We're here at the United States Post Office on this piece of public space out in front of the post office.
Why did you choose this spot?
We chose this spot, I think, mostly strategically, because it is this is one of the main spots for people. The main thing here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina is the University of North Carolina, some people may have heard of. This is the main spot where people coming from campus onto Franklin Street, which is sort of the main strip for like stores and banks and whatnot. This is where they have to pass through to come by. Whenever there's like a big football game or a basketball game, this is where everybody comes to. Also, being this United States Post Office, traditionally, and this goes back to probably the 50s, this is where people have organized to have protests and demonstrations. So that would be our reason. Also, it's it's a piece of public space that we can occupy legally without infringing on the rights of any private citizens.
And you guys started it on October 15th, and how has it been so far?
I have no right.
So October 15th, we got together here at 10:30 a.m. We had about 110 people come out. We've had a General Assembly every day since then at 6 p.m. and we have about maybe 30 to 50 people come out for the General Assembly. We've had between 12 and 25 people camping out here every night. We've had actually tremendous support from the city and citizens here in town. People have come out and just, told us that they're really, really happy about what we're doing. They support us. We've gotten a lot of donations. We have plenty of food. We have plenty of money for supplies, anything we need. Mostly what we've been doing so far in our General Assemblies this first few days, we've been out here, 4 days. So is organizing different committees, different action groups around different things that we're doing, groups to organize, like food and sanitation, literature, education, outreach to the community, so on.
Basically, a lot of people have been looking at some of the protests in the major cities and all. Not much attention has been paid to smaller communities that have been doing Occupy actions. What do you want people to know about Chapel Hill in particular as they look at this video?
I think one thing that's a little bit different about Chapel Hill than maybe some other cities or towns around is that actually Chapel Hill traditionally is a very liberal town. The local city government and the people, private citizens here, are very supportive of this type of action. A lot of people are very aware about a lot of the problems that we've been having. It's not something new to them. We've had people since 2003 every weekend out on the street protesting against the war. So it's a little bit different in that way. One of the really great things about that is that we haven't had any issues with the police or government in any way trying to, tell us to leave or that we can't be here or restrict our freedom of speech. They actually almost seem encouraging that we express ourselves, our freedom of speech, our freedom to assemble. That is a really great thing, and I think it speaks to the true spirit of democracy that still does exist in this country. I think it's sad when I see the NYPD, beating peaceful protesters, arresting people for basically no cause whatsoever, just because they were present in a street, and I would hope that this town and the police here and the government would set a good example for other cities about how would be the true democratic way to deal with peaceful demonstrators, protesters, and occupants.
Now, you have said this is a pretty liberal town and everybody's pretty much supportive of what you're doing here. You also said we were talking earlier, I should say, that Chapel Hill has a different situation. A lot of people who are doing this occupation are in fact working, but they're still considered themselves part of 99, which is not a bad thing. What do you think is motivating people here to get behind the action, the Occupy Chapel Hill?
I mean, I don't know how different individuals would define it, but to me it speaks to the true heart of compassion. People who see injustice and inequality in the world around them, and even though it may not affect their lives personally or directly, we feel that it is necessary and that it is not our right to freedom of speech, but it is in fact our duty to speak out when we see injustice and inequality, and that we are here in representing those people who cannot be here. We are here representing those people who are afraid to speak out against injustice and inequality because fear of the repercussions, like being beaten, brutalized, arrested, imprisoned, possibly, detained indefinitely without cause. I mean, the citizens of this country, in fact, recently have been assassinated. And said that they were part of a terrorist group. Technically, we are defined by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as a low-level terrorist group.
Really?
So, the established order does not like it when people speak out against the order of the day. They don't like it when we say that we want things to be equal. The people who have the money and the power like it that way, and they want to keep it that way. I sincerely believe, and I hope that true democracy will prevail, and at least that we still have our freedom of speech.